On Sunday, we're going to talk about the Holy Spirit's gift of discipleship. Now, to be a disciple is to be a student of a teacher. But not just any student. For a student can learn some things from a teacher and then move on. But to be a disciple, to be a student of Jesus, is to become like the teacher. And Jesus will talk about that in Luke chapter 6, a gospel reading for this coming Sunday, that a student is not above his teacher, but becomes like him. And we have an excellent example of that in the life of Joseph. We'll hear a little bit at the end of his life. Now, Joseph was a student, a disciple. He was made like his teacher, made like his merciful Father in heaven, made merciful like him because God was with him throughout all of his trials, from being sold as a slave by his brothers to being imprisoned falsely for something that he hadn't done. The Lord was with him, and throughout all of that, he was able to be merciful, so that at the end of the book of Genesis, in chapter 50, he forgives his brothers who sold him into slavery. He forgives them. Joseph was able to do that because Jesus was at work in him. And Jesus, his teacher, made him like him. And that's what the Holy Spirit does with the gift of discipleship. He forms us into the mold of our teacher, Jesus. He makes us merciful, willing to forgive. As you prepare for this coming Sunday to receive the wonderful gifts of God and Word and Sacrament again, start thinking about that gift of discipleship, about where in your life you need to be conformed a little bit more into the mold of Christ, to be more like your teacher. And don't be afraid that if some of those things, some of those areas where you need to be changed, that will include some suffering. In fact, expect it. To be like Jesus is to be like one who is set aside for suffering, for he's the suffering servant. And it is in the cross, more than anything, that we show who we are as disciples of Jesus. Embrace the cross, rejoice in it. Do not fight against the Holy Spirit's work, and as he gives this gift of discipleship, as he places the cross on our back, rejoice in it as it brings you closer and closer into the Father's embrace and into the likeness of Christ. Peace be with you this week.